Hello, and welcome to Tantrum House Studio Awesome. I'm Katie.
And I'm Ryan, and today we're going to preview Last Days of Athobrae from Moonlit Moor Games.
The Last Days of Athobrae is a 2 to 5 player game where players are trying to survive on a planet that's in its last days. You're actually doing a lot of resource management. You're like discovering new tiles, flipping it over, and there's a lot of risks that you have to take in this game to be successful.
We have a hold of the prototype, so let's go take a look at the components. Each of the city-states has a deck of city cards, which they'll need to research through in order to build blueprints and technologies. The blueprints they'll need in order to build their entire ship to leave, and the technologies they'll need to get an edge in the game.
Each of the city-states has scouts. Those scouts are going out and collecting resources. But if the scout has those resources in their stash, they have to come back to the city to offload them so that they can be used to purchase cards and technologies. To purchase a technology, you have to pay the cost. You have to have those in your city and be able to afford the colors shown.
There are 5 parts of your ship that you'll need to build in order to win the game. Each blueprint will require different resources, so you'll want to definitely vary what you're gathering. And you'll need to be careful when you research because some of them are harder to find than others. For example, the antimatter chamber, there's only one in your whole deck. Some cards give you the ability to attack other players. For example, a scout would have to be on the same space as another scout and roll a 5 or 6 in order to damage it. This flips over the other scout and makes it vulnerable where it might die later.
At the end of each round, there is a doom phase. You draw a location card, and that will show you which tile is being affected. You flip it over and there is an upheaval bonus that happens. This one has a die that you roll to determine which resource will appear there. This one is red, so you add a red cube to that location. Then you also draw a world event. The world event card will have different things based on what's available. It is affecting the tile there. This one is affecting the scouts that may be on or near the tile, damaging for one. That one's destroyed because it already had a damage, and this one flips over to its damaged side.
When a tile is already flipped over and its location card is drawn, instead of being flipped back over, it is removed from the game, as well as any resources and scouts that are on it. And you'll want to watch out for those world events because some of them can affect several tiles at once, and their negative effects will linger throughout the game.
So the game really ends when one player is able to build all of the components needed to make that spaceship to get off this dying planet.
And they have to have the special clear resource in order to fuel their spaceship to leave the system.
Yeah, so you have to be really careful on how you deal with that. In this game, I really like the neat tile placement. I love that there's a random setup, or you can choose to do a certain way you want to, lay out the land yourself, but your home city is in a random spot. Like that could be a scary thing to just be out in the middle of nowhere. And
yeah, and then those tiles are disappearing as you play. I really liked that you're flipping them over and the land is constantly changing as tiles disappear.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that dynamic board.
That upheaval, that you flip tiles, you potentially get resources, but then there's all sorts of world events that are going on that are constantly, I feel like for me, constantly messing me up. And there's a lot of chance, and there are a lot of things that you have to kind of deal with on the fly. But there is a ton of planning involved. Are you going to try to just focus on those ship components? Or are you going to try to build up factories to try to generate more resources? Are you going to get into attacking other players? Because you can totally play this game without attacking players, Ryan and I had this little unspoken thing about not attacking each other, but you could totally go that way. So there's just a lot of different ways this game can be played.
And each of the factions has its own play style as well, because they each have specific abilities and cards that are unique to that faction. One of the factions focuses on hijacking other technologies from other factions, and another one tries to convert the scouts from somebody. So you really have to decide what you want to do and what your playstyle is going to be, and find the faction that goes according to that. If you thought this was interesting, definitely check out Last Days of Athobrae on Kickstarter.
Something floating in the air right there. Okay.
Management and survival in the last days of a planet.
The dying planet. Okay.
We have a hold of the prototype.
We do. Got it in our hands.
Did that sound dumb?
It's fine.